Students, this is Ms. Mason, and Brutus is here with us today, and we are in Geology Lesson number 30. 30. Okay. And we already talked about what petroleum is. We learned that it's a flammable fossil fuel that is non-renewable, and it's made of three parts. The gas part is the natural gas, like methane. Liquid part is crude oil, which is used to make diesel fuel. Kerosene, which is like jet fuel. And gasoline, which is like octane. And solid in the form of bitumen, which is used to make asphalt. It's tar. Used for asphalt, for paving roads, and for roofing. So if you've ever been trapped behind one of those trucks that has a trailer of the roofing tar, you know that smell. Woo! That's it's petroleum based. Okay, so after the petroleum has been removed, extracted from the earth, either through conventional drilling, like going in a jelly donut, or through fracking, like going in a layered cake. Once it's collected now, we still can't use it until it's been processed. And it has to go through a refinery. So there are petroleum refineries. There's a lot of them in Oakland that process that petroleum, that crude oil. So once the petroleum arrives, the crude oil. The crude oil was collected after it was extracted. So there it is. Now this crude oil is not processed. It's made up a lot of different hydrocarbons. Remember, hydrocarbons are made of hydrogen and carbon. But we can't do anything with it yet because it's in its crude form. It hasn't been processed. So we're going to have to separate this crude oil through the process called fractional distillation. For fractions, remember, a fraction is part of a whole number. So like 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, those are fractions. Fractional distillation. Distillation is purifying, removing the impurities. So this process really breaks up the petroleum into its parts or its fractions using distillation. How does it do this? Well, it uses the boiling points. So right down here, we're going to boil this crude oil. So you're going to warm it up. So you're going to warm it up until it gets to a boiling point. All right? And the first temperature we reach where something is actually boiled off is 30 degrees. So, there's a column. There's a fractional distillation column that can separate the petroleum. We boiled. Okay? The first thing that boils is at 30 degrees, and that is liquid petroleum gas. So it is actually natural gas, but it's been liquefied, so it's easier to transport it. Okay, so that has the lowest boiling point in this petroleum we collected. Has the lowest. So it boils first. And when it boils, remember, boiling is going from a liquid to a gas. So it becomes a vapor. And then when it climbs this column, remember, gases are less dense than liquids, so the gas is going to rise to the top. It's less dense. But when it gets up here, it starts to cool off because it's away from the heat source. And as it cools off, it starts to condense. So it goes back to its liquid form. And then when it does that, it is liquid petroleum gas, or LPG. We heat up even more now down here because we haven't boiled everything, we only boiled one part of this petroleum. So we boil more till we get to about 70 degrees Celsius. And that is naphtha. Naphtha makes up a lot of chemicals. So it's a petroleum-based product that is used to make up a lot of chemicals. So then that is collected. All right, then we keep boiling until we get to about 120 degrees Celsius. And that is gasoline then. Gasoline, the form of octane. So octane, the gas that you put in your car, gas station. It has 8 carbons in it. That's why it's called octane. Oct means 8. So that's the next thing that boiled and was collected. So the next thing, we keep heating it till the next temperature we get to is 180. And that is when the kerosene boils. That's the boiling point of kerosene. And that is used in jet fuel, rocket fuel. It's used for heating. All right, keep boiling till we get to about 260, and that is the boiling point of diesel fuel. Those big diesel trucks, they use different type of fuel. They don't use octane. So if you go to the gas station, generally it's a green colored handle. It says diesel fuel. You don't want to put that in your car. It's a much heavier hydrocarbon. To get about 300 degrees Celsius, and we boil off lubricating oils. So oil, if you get oil change in your car, that is a petroleum based, but it is a heavier hydrocarbon than your octane gasoline. This is also waxes, polishes, things like that. And then we keep boiling till about 350 degrees Celsius. This is fuel oil, which is used in ships, like cargo ships, factories. At around 400 degrees Celsius, the heaviest of all is residue. And that is used to make asphalt, tar, roofing. So that's the last thing to boil. So that has the highest boiling point. It's the heaviest. It has the highest boiling point. So as we go down, we are increasing the boiling point. BP, boiling point. So these boil last. But you can see we can separate all the parts of the petroleum by boiling, right? Because they have different boiling points, so that separates these. So now, for example, this octane that was collected, this is now separated, so it can be transported to a gas station. So this is called fractional distillation. And that is fractional distillation. That's how to separate petroleum into its different parts. I hope you enjoyed it. Rock on, rock stars. Enjoy nature. Find your inner nature nerd. Rock on, rock star.